Well, it looks like we're getting back onto the trailer build. So let's go back to our little board here and figure out where we left off at. So I see I forgot to mark off winch rope. That's done. So now we still got to figure out the locks, reverse lights, and the rest of the wiring and potential LS swap. So I've already kind of started on the wiring, trying to figure out what all I had. I had an old spool of 16-2 wire. See, it's just this stuff. It's got a nice thick rubberized coating from GearIT.com. Anyway, let me strip a little bit of it back and show you what we're working with here. I like this stuff because it's got this nice thick rubber coating on it. And then you get a 2-part wire inside of it. So whenever you're running it under the trailers or on your car or whatever, it's gonna be a lot more abrasion resistant. The only hard part is trying to strip off this stuff without nicking the wires. So I'll show you what I've got done so far. Let's reel this in here. So I've got the long piece that's going to attach to the wiring that I have inside the tongue box, which is going to have like the relay and fuses and all that and connect to the battery. And then as it comes back right behind the rear fender, it's going to branch off, and I've got a male plug. So we got the wire coming in, male plug, wire coming out, and this wire is going to go across the back over to another male plug that's going to go for the passenger side reverse light. And I don't even remember if I put it in my last video about this, but what this is about is putting reverse lights onto it. And these are just some old rough country lights that I had pulled off of my Jeep. They're floodlights. As you can see, they're pretty worn out, but they do still work. And it's kind of more one of those proof of concept kind of things. And I don't want to just throw these away. They still work, you know. They're still good. So we're going to run them till they die. I have quick disconnects so we can just pull it off, put on the new ones. And this is also going to be what eliminates having these bolts on the removable fenders, at least on the back side. Because as you can see, the bolt just looks, it's like, it is a flange head, it's a nice bolt, but it seems a little bit too small. It's squishing down the aluminum. And I don't know if the camera, see, you can kind of see how it's squishing down the aluminum and warping it and all that. I don't like that. So this nice bracket on the bottom is going to be there to disperse all of the pressure and hold this fender down better. So I guess the next step is going to be to get up under this trailer and see how I'm going to run this wiring under here and try to make it nice and clean and keep it from, you know, pinching on stuff, rubbing on things. But the cool part about this trailer, it's got the support jacks on the back, you know, that guy right there. It's got one on each side. You got another one right there. And I was able to jack this trailer up to give myself a little bit more room, and in doing so I was like, hey, I don't need to carry a jack to change out trailer tires, because all 4 tires are off the ground. So that's a pretty nifty little bonus feature. Let me try to figure out how I can set you guys up so you can see at least a little bit of what I'm doing, and I guess we'll work until it's dark, and we'll come back tomorrow, because I was lazy today and I didn't get much done. So let's do it. Ooh, but first things first, I think I can go ahead and heat shrink these. That'll be nifty. Well, dang, I thought only one axle was supposed to have brakes. That's awesome. Both axles on this actually have brakes, so that's pretty cool. Ah! I'm okay. I went to pull myself up on the from the trailer axle, and it suspension. All right, well, the crappy part of the project's done. Now we don't gotta be crawling up under the trailer no more, so that's nice. Woofta. Hydrate. Now that's some high quality H2O. So the next part of this puzzle is going to be Nilight off-road light bar wiring harness. Just makes things easy, you know. The cool part is this little guy right here, little wireless remote, so I can be inside the truck, have this in the console. Whenever I need to back up, I can just click it on, and then click it off whenever I'm done. So that'll be pretty handy, if I don't say so myself, or do, I don't know. Anyway, if I remember right, this is already pre-wired for 2 different things. We're only going to be using one leg right now, but I do plan on putting some lights up on top of this this bar here. That way I can have work lights up here that shine back on the bed itself, so I can, you know, work, because they're work lights. So it comes with positive and negative battery side. Then you got a relay, and from there it breaks off into its 2 legs. Here's one, then here's the other one. Dang it, I don't want to have this much excess under there, because it doesn't branch off into 2 wires until like way out here. So I'm probably just going to cut a lot of this back and worry about adding more wires later on if I want to. All right, easy peasy. Let's see, let's get this put up in here. And if I remember right, this little wiring harness here was only like 10 bucks on Amazon. And I've had really good luck out of Nilight stuff. I had put Nilight light pods on my forklifts back when I worked at the sawmill, and because they had halogens on there, and I got tired of having to change them out like every week, because out there it was all sand, so you're basically off-road all the time and bouncing around the masts, the carriage and mast, you know, every time you hit a bump it wants to slam down, and so it'd break halogen bulbs all the time. So I got a $20 pair of Nilight light pods, and actually it was 2 of them because I needed front and rear, and I just wired them into where the old lights were. Never had another issue. I think I had them on there for almost 4 years, and they just kept going. They were great. So that really sold me on Nilight, and I've put them on multiple trucks now. I actually put some on my Ram hotshot truck for fog lights. But anywho, I need to quit talking and get to work here, because I'm running out of daylight pretty quick. Let you see what I'm doing here. Yeah, it's getting a little bit dark out here. Maybe getting close to being a little bit too dark to keep doing this. Oh, there's my backyard street light kicking on for us. That's nice of him. So I got these handy dandy Klein tools. I got the strippers. I got the fancy crimpers that give you like the perfect amount of crimping for my heat shrinkable butt connectors. Always tug test whenever you get them on. But yeah, I think this little pair of them I found on Amazon for like 40 bucks. One of these days I ought to make myself a little Amazon store and be able to put all this stuff into a cart so I can give you guys links and you can find it quickly and easily. But I do need to change these wire ends out because they are absolutely massive. That's way too big for what we're working with. So we can go ahead and do that real quick. Where's my cutters? What'd you do with my cutters? Bro. What'd you do with my cutters, man? Oh. Look, I appreciate you helping me out, but you need to put stuff where I can find it, all right? Right in front of me is not good enough, all right? You need to keep track of this. This will probably be the last thing that I do tonight. It's getting a little bit dark out here. And then after this, you know, whenever I come out here tomorrow, all I'll have to do is just set up that other pod light, wire on its connector, and then try to clean up this a little bit here, get it all zip tied, tucked away, all that stuff, so it doesn't look bad. I feel like I worked pretty hard on making this winch wiring look good, so I don't want to ruin it by jankifying this. I will say there is one downfall. It's my big Klein wire crimpers, and that's they suck at doing these little wire ends. I don't get it. I guess it's just because it's only one little, anyway. So for little stuff like that, these icons really come in handy. So let's get these done so I can go inside, eat some cold leftover pizza, because I like cold pizza, and take a shower. Because while I barely did anything out here today, it don't take much. You start sweating pretty quick out here for like no reason. You just walk out and you're sweating. You can't breathe. Hook it up to some power. Oh, that was weird. As soon as I connected the negative terminal, someone screamed. That's hilarious. Well, nothing caught on fire whenever I touched the negative terminal on there, so whenever I touched, we're just gonna kind of tuck all this away in here. La-di-da-di-da. Then I'm gonna grab all my tools up and call it a night. I'll be back here in just a little while. We'll smell you later. All right, I'm gonna do what I said I didn't want to do, and that is make these wires shorter. This is entirely too long and it's gonna look dumb in there. I think I mentioned it before that, you know, I spent a good little bit of time trying to make this battery nice and neat in here. And I don't want to ruin all that hard work by just kind of chopping this crap into there. So we're gonna try to do it right. Here goes nothing. Go. All right, so it's not quite perfect, you know what I mean? But it does look a lot better than having 8 feet of extra wire in here at least. So I guess now we get to move back to messing with them lights back there. This light already has the female side plug on it that I need, because I've already wired the male side into here, if you recall. If I even mentioned that, I don't know. So we just need to wire that side in, and then this side we can just bolt the light on real quick. Let me go grab even more tools out. Yay! God, these ants are horrible. I am covered right now. Okay. Oh my gosh. Finally got that one mounted up. That was pretty good. Nice. A little bit of dielectric grease in there to help protect this plug. Thankfully the other one, since it was a used one, already had some. So I don't gotta worry about it. Where's my plug at? Where'd you go? I just had you. There you are. There it is. There's that one. Why is that one not working? Well, for some reason this light isn't working. It used to work. I guess let's see if we got power coming back to it. All right, well, it's a little while later. It took me a little bit of time to diagnose what was going on. Come to find out, it was one of my wires on this side of the trailer had a bad connection on it. So I was able to cut it out and redo it. After I murdered a bunch of ants, because the ants were tearing me up under there. We got what they call crazy ants, and it looks like moving dirt. Man, yeah, it's bad out here. I ended up going inside and grabbing some Dawn dish detergent, putting it into my foam cannon, and spraying all of the area around the trailer with it. And I went ahead and took advantage of the little bit of Dawn I had left, and we washed off the bike. Tried to get some of the love bugs off of it. Anyway, we're getting off topic. Getting off topic. I gotta try to stay on topic. So without further ado, we got a remote. Now they work. And I'll be able to back up at night. And I didn't realize this, but it also has a strobe function. And it does a whole bunch of different patterns. Okay, that's enough of that. So, now we'll be able to see at night whenever we're backing up. And I think that means that all of this, nope. All I have to do now is heat shrink that butt connector that I put on there. Yep, that's it. So this worked out pretty cool. I don't know how much you were able to see earlier, but I was able to just drill and tap a hole straight into this wall for this M8 bolt. It's a M8 flange head bolt, stainless. The same one that I use, it's the same kind that I use for the strap. And I know what you're thinking. Well, why don't you just drill and tap those bolt holes for your battery hold down strap? You know, why'd you have to put a riv nut? Well, that's just because I was worried about, you know, the thickness and how much thread connection I was actually gonna have. I actually got really good thread penetration. Thread, you know, there's a good bit of thread on there. That metal's really thick, so I probably would have been okay with it. But I figured, you know, it's a little bit more of a heavy duty application to hold that battery in, so we'll just go ahead and put riv nuts in it. And it's done now, so whatever. We're not gonna try to go back and change all that since it doesn't need to be fixed. So I think let's go check out our board. So we were able to get the reverse lights done and more wiring done. So now we just gotta get locks put on it, which means that I need to get out my die grinder bits and hook them up to my drill so that I can waller out those holes. I don't know if I mentioned it last time. I don't know if I left that in the last video or not, but my locks are too shallow to reach back to these holes on here. Let's see, we got that. It's just a little bit too deep in there. I need to bring it out just a little bit more. And it's the same thing. Same thing with the trailer ramp, with the ramps on the back. It's just a little bit that I need to hog out so I can put my cool little locks on there. No, we're done with the trailer modification, so that'll be pretty cool. Well, we got the lights in, and when you weren't looking, I came out here and I put locks on the back of the trailer. I had to use a carbide burr on my drill to kind of waller out the holes because these locks weren't quite fitting on there. But we got it. That was very tedious. But here, there's one lock, and there's the other lock. So now all I got left to do is to do the same thing on the spare tire. But again, I'm not going to bore you with that. It's pretty cool that I found a set of 3 locks like that, that are all keyed alike. They say Autobots on them. I don't know why, but Autobots are cool. And they came in with 3 sets of 3 keys, and they're all exactly the same. So that was, I don't know why they gave you so many keys, but I guess if you lose one, then you'll lose the other ones too before, you know, you can find them, because there's so many of them. You'll forget where you put them, or at least I will. I didn't bother doing a hitch lock because honestly, I mean, at that point, if somebody wants to steal the whole trailer, they're going to steal the whole trailer. They will literally back up to this thing, hook the chains onto their truck, and drag this thing out of here, get it somewhere out of the way, and work on that lock to get it off. And so there's really not a whole lot that you can do to prevent that. I'm pretty much just keeping honest people honest with the locks on the ramps and spare tire, but unfortunately there's nothing that you can really do to stop thieves. But you know, I also don't really plan on taking this thing places where I really need to worry about it, and where I'm going to be like unhooking from it for any period of time in strange places. So it should be all right. And if I do unhook from it, I think that unbolting the hitch itself will be probably just as effective as putting a lock on the hitch. But I mean, there's all types of crazy stuff you could do. Honestly, I think the best thing to really do would be to put a tracking device on here, or even just an air tag. My lawn trailer had a tracking device on it and locks on the doors and everything, but that still didn't stop thieves from breaking into it and stealing like $4,000 worth of stuff out of it. Thankfully, they didn't touch either one of my mowers. They just took all of my other stuff. You know, I got the switch wired into here, so if I was up here working, I could click it and we got lights. Unfortunately, you know, there's no real light coverage on the direct back part of the trailer, but there is some on each side, and that really helps a lot. Hopefully, as you can see in the video that I just played ahead of this or after this, I'm not sure how I'm gonna edit that into there. I'll probably do it before this. Anyway, cut that part out. So let's go do what I've been waiting to do. Let's close this door so that my little light can illuminate the board crud. So trailer mods, we can go ahead and work off locks. And that's it for the trailer thing, because, I mean, come on, how are you going to put an LS swap onto the trailer? I haven't figured it out yet, you know. I'm just kidding. That was just satire. But so that's going to be it for this episode. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and keep an eye out for the next one. Y'all stay blessed, guys.